There's been a fair amount of controversy surrounding the television series Rogue Heroes, which depicts the formation and early days of the Special Air Service of the SAS. Now, the most recent series features Newtonard's man Blair Mayne. I have to admit, I have several problems with the show, starting with the accent of Jack O'Connell, the actor playing Maine. Just stay with me in this. This is what I mean.
Major Paddy Mayne. There's been an order from GHQ to all SAS personnel. The new berets that one SAS and two SAS will now wear at all times while on active and ceremonial duty. The old sand-coloured berets will now be forbidden.
What? Good Lord.
As of right now.
Lieutenant, as you can see, my men and I are grieving, so we are in no position to do anything right now, let alone sell our souls.
I appreciate that, but...
Now, I respectfully urge you to reconsider your interruption and save this futile discussion regarding headwear for a more suitable time. What say you, Sweet Pea?
What I say, Sweet Pea, is just what sort of accent were you reaching for? Because you definitely isn't Northern Irish. It seems whatever voice coach O'Connell had told him that he could do a passable Northern Ireland accent by pursing his lips like someone who'd got cheap lip fillers. Combined with lengthening every word until it sounded like he was on Valium. But there's something even more disturbing than the accent. And I know, that's hard to believe. I know that's hard to believe. Yeah. And that's the dramatic liberties the makers of the show have taken with the real character of Lieutenant Colonel Robert Blair Mayne. Now, Mayne is straight out of a boy's own novel or something. He was born in 1912 in Newtonards. And initially, he was an international rugby star playing for both Ireland and the All Blacks. He enlisted in the army at the outbreak of World War II in 1939. And initially, I think he served in the Royal Artillery, and then he transferred to the Royal Army Service Corps. Now, Mayne's natural leadership and courage soon caught the attention of the superiors, leading to his recruitment into the Special Air Service, or the SAS, that became known by its founder, David Stirling, in 1941. Mayne became a pivotal member of that regiment, quickly rising through the ranks, becoming one of the most influential figures in its history, right? Now, one of his most famous exploits, and there were many, believe me, many, was a solo raid. That means one. That means him. Balix by himself, right? On an enemy airfield where he reportedly destroyed numerous aircraft single-handedly. His willingness to take immense risks and his ability to lead his men through perilous situations, what made him a revered figure among his soldiers. Following the North African campaign, Mayne led his men through Italy and France, engaging in various operations which required stealth, precision, and courage. His leadership during those missions further enhanced his status as a war hero. After the war, he returned home and resumed his legal career, rarely speaking of his wartime exploits, though I have heard from boys out by Newtonards that he did enjoy a bit of fisticuffs. The child was, I can understand, today we'd call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and them days had no idea of what was going on. So if you annoyed Mayne in a pub, you knew about it. And there's wonderful stories. One of them, when I heard, was a publican phoned the local police station and he says, "Get down here quickly! Get down, there's murder going on! There's a row!" And the cop says, what's going on? He says, "All I want to tell you is Mayne's here." So instead of sending the 2 cops down to break it up, they sent 10 cops down to try to sort of survive. That's what they did. Now, eventually, he was out one night and he was involved in a car crash. I think it was 1955, and that was the end of Maine. And but see, during the war, he was awarded the second highest UK military honour. I think it's called the Distinguished Service Order, DSO, on no less than 4 occasions. 4 occasions. There's only a handful of people during the war got that many. And while he was recommended 4, he was never awarded the UK's highest military award, the VC, or Victoria Cross. Now, there have long been calls for this glaring injustice to be corrected, with indeed David Sterling, the founder of the SAS, saying not giving Maine the VC had been a monstrous injustice. And when Maine went to Buckingham Palace to get his third DSO from King George, it's reported that the king commented that he couldn't understand why Maine had, in his words, so strangely eluded being given the VC. And it rumbles on. Most recently, only this week, an early day motion was brought before the Commons by Strangford MP Jim Shannon after a decision by the Ministry of Justice to yet again deny Maine the VC. Now, many have wondered why Maine was denied that award. I think I may have an answer. I believe it's due to the Paddy in Maine's name. If the Paddy had been Tarquin or Cecil, the VC would have been no doubt awarded long ago. And it's hardly surprising that discrimination against Maine existed in an England which had signs in boarding houses reading "No blacks, no Irish, no dogs." There was an exception to this rule, of course, and that was when England found itself at war, when they were only too glad to welcome blacks and Irish into their army. All we need do is look at the Disneyfication of the story of Maine in the current Rogues Heroes television series to see that even today, a decorated war hero can be reduced to a drunken mad Paddy caricature. So maybe it's time we stop going cap in hand to the UK establishment begging for recognition 70 years overdue.
Oh, God bless you, Master, God bless you. Oh, it'd be terribly kind of you, know. It'd be terribly kind of you if you could see your way to give an old Blair Mayne his right reward, sir. God bless you.
It's too late. The man's dead 70 years. For once, we should have the balls he showed and act with a bit of dignity and say to the UK government, you denied him his rightful recognition when he was alive, so you can now go stick your VC as far up your tight English holes as it will go. The last thing I want to see is Jim Shannon standing in the Commons, tears running down his cheeks after the VC is yet again denied. Fuck that. And fuck the makers of Rogues Heroes for their depiction of Maine as a psycho running amok. The reality is soldiers would never have followed a man like that. Maine was a highly intelligent man who always had the safety of his troops at the forefront of his mind, and unlike other wartime leaders, he never asked them to do anything he wasn't willing to do himself. His disgraceful treatment proves that irrespective of how brave or valiant an Ulsterman may fight for England, he will always remain just another dispensable Paddy in the eyes of the high and mighty. I would argue that a denied bauble from the UK Parliament will add to, rather than diminish, Paddy Mayne's legacy. In other words, go stick it. Shock news this week that Gerry Adams is one of a number of authors whose books have been accessed by Meta to help train their new artificial intelligence model thing, right? Gerry is incensed. Let me tell you, Gerry is incensed, saying that his books have been used without my permission and the matter is in the hands of my solicitor. So if you happen in the future to ask Meta, this could happen, you ask Meta in the future, Meta, how should I avoid answering awkward questions? Do not be surprised if it answers, whatever you say nothing, deny everything. Or if you have to say something, right, say I was not there. Or my personal favourite, I was never a member of that organisation. Slán.
I know. There's no need for that. There was no need for that, like. There was no need for that.